at this photo. Gruesome. Almost as gruesome as this photo. There's a variety of issues in our world. Unfortunately, some of them involve violence. Although I would like to say otherwise, we are far from seeing the end of terrorism in our world. Although it's a gruesome topic and we prefer not to think about it, we must think about, is it worth torturing terrorists in order to save innocent lives? Today I'll be talking to you about who we're really talking about when we say terrorists, what torture really means, why we shouldn't treat terrorists the same as we treat everybody else, and lastly, why we need to act upon them. It's kind of a blurred picture when we think of terrorists. Some of us may think of 9/11. Others may think of some form of action movie that involves terrorism, or some of us may think of some historical people that have been known for their acts of terrorism. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI, states that there is no common, universally accepted definition of terrorism. However, it is usually an act that is intended to create fear and target the safety of civilians. In fact, they've recently released a list of some of the most powerful terrorists ever. Some of them may sound familiar. Osama bin Laden, responsible for 4,000 deaths. Benito Mussolini, responsible for 300,000 deaths. Saddam Hussein, responsible for 600,000 deaths. Or maybe Hitler, responsible for 23 million deaths. As I said before, there's no universally accepted definition. However, the White House states that as long as the act seems like terror, we will treat it as an act of terrorism. We use this idea for the most recent Boston Marathon massacre. According to Colleen Curry of CNN, she states there was 3 deaths and 133 injured. We treated this as an act of terrorism. Same with September 11th, 2,996 deaths, according to the National Memorial Museum website. Personally, when I think of torture, I think of somebody being tied up and beaten. Although this is sometimes the case, there's a variety of different methods used when it comes to torture. The definition of torture is anything that causes mental or physical suffering. So although this could be somebody being tied and beat up, it could also be something as simple as sleep deprivation or leaving somebody in the dark for too long. Some people feel that we should treat all people with rights and equality. This includes terrorists. Regardless of the situation, we should never torture humans because it is their right to live free of this harm. However, if this is the case, it should affect us in everyday life, that we should have the right to live free of terrorism. Terrorists have taken the right away from civilians to live free of these, so therefore, I feel that they have forfeited their rights. Also, people feel that we should treat everybody with equality. Terrorists have decided to engage in activities that take away equality for civilians such as us. Therefore, they should not receive the same amount of equality that the rest of us receive. Terrorists shouldn't be treated as everybody else. For the most part, we are talking about people who kill innocent people, no matter who they are or where they are, and usually show no remorse. For this, we need to act upon terrorists. The main reason is to receive information. Terrorists may hold information that can help save innocent lives. It can also help us to prevent acts such as terrorism from happening again. Terrorists also may give us information that we didn't even know to ask for. CIA Chief Leon Panetta states that there is a variety of information coming and going within interrogation, and that sometimes these methods of torture have been proven to leak information that we didn't even think about asking for. Another reason is to save time. A documentary done by the History Channel is living proof of this when the actual events of 9/11 happened. For example, South Tower falling at 9:58, North at 10:28. There's no question that time is important when it comes to acts of terrorism. If moments of pain inflicted on a terrorist leads to information that may save thousands of innocent lives, then I think this is a scenario where the risk might be worth the reward. Lastly, because of our rights as Americans, we have the right to live free of harm. It is our duty to protect ourselves and our citizens. Today I've gone over the problems of terrorism. The solution would be to use acts of torture, such as mental and physical torture, in order to help save lives. The best form of action from here is simply being informed, so that if terrorism is to face America, we act without hesitation. Although it's a gruesome subject, I think it's important to think about, and I hope I persuaded you to choose a side.